I remember these Dodges well. I can assure you that is not us in that Ford V8 Pilot. Today on CarTraction, you join us at Prescott Speed Hillclimb. And that is the sort of thing we'll be seeing today. Today is the day of the VSCC Speed Hillclimb. All pre-1930 vintage cars flying up the hill. Some slower than that one like the Austin 7s, some a lot faster. ERA R4D, a very famous car. ERAs, there's the Cognac Special, maybe a couple of Bugattis. There is just an absolutely gorgeous array of pre-1930 vintage racing cars here. At the moment, it is very early in the morning. The drivers are just shaking down the cars. The proper timed runs do start later, where they really start to push it. There's so many classes. There's little Lee Francis coming up now. Looks like we're in the short course today, so turning off there. Well, this place has been operating since August 1938, and it may have been disrupted by a certain international kerfuffle between 39 and 45, but it is still running today. The course record was set in 2021, which is 36 seconds. It's just above 1,000 yards or 1,000 meters, I think. But I don't think these vintage beauties will be getting anywhere near that today. There'll be plenty of vintage cars parked up, as well as racing on the hill. We've got the BMW Historic Motor Club. We'll have a little look around these, the Fraser Nash BMW era. There'll be plenty of Fraser Nashes here. Very, very common chain-driven vintage racing car. Little Amble car there, and a very, very nice and early Bentley. If you're into early Bentleys, then check out my Bentley tour video. We saw the very, very first Bentley from 1919. I actually sat in that car for my introduction to that video, and this looks a comparably early one. Certainly very, very early 1920s, a 3-litre that one will be. And then this is a very, very lovely vintage Lancia. As you can see, it's still very, very early, but all the vintage cars, even though this Talbot seemingly is under a cover, they are all amassing here at the VSCC meeting at Prescott Speed Hillclimb. Fantastic selection of vintage Talbots parked up here. A couple of the Toro ones in that glorious saloon. These Talbots have the glorious huge headlamps up front. Pre-war cars just have the best designs, don't they? This is an especially sleek looking vintage Talbot saloon in black here. It looks really, really stealthy. Yeah, but as you can see, we're only really just touching the surface of the amazing vintage car collection here already. Well, we'll have a closer look at all of these cars later, but I've just spotted two cars I want to look at, the first of which long following members of the channel will recognise this. This is a Dodge 4 Tourer from the sort of mid-1920s, and this is effectively the car we used to have. Ours was perhaps a little bit shinier than this. We are connoisseurs of the oily rag, but ours wasn't quite as oily rag as this. I have fond memories of these. It's a 3.5 litre 4-cylinder in this. That's a great oily rag vintage Dodge, isn't it? Yeah, so that's one car we've had, and then we're moving on from one car we used to have. Now this is an almost identical Ford V8 Pilot, albeit this one is not on white walls, but it's in the same Ludlow green. Yeah, we just saw this one peeking over at the back row and thought, that's not our car, is it? Well, of course it's not, that's tucked away at home, but yeah, an absolutely almost identical Ford V8 Pilot to the one tucked away in our garage back at home. This one's got some Marshall lamps on the front of it. We've also got some No-Tech spot lamps. But yeah, it's almost like seeing double seeing this one here. Yeah, I think it's like the largest piece of Bakelite in any sort of British car of the period. Also 1950, really, wow. So yeah, another 1950 Ludlow green Ford V8 Pilot. Was not expecting to see effectively our car without white walls here. There's plenty more. Got the Ford Model A, Tourer here, and so much more we will look at later. Gorgeous AC Cobra is next to arrive. That looks to be a genuine one, but I'm not going to commit to that yet. Certainly a 289. Bullnose Morris is making its way up. Oh, that's a lot faster than standard. Well, here we are now, coming up to the paddock. This is where all the racing cars amass to prepare and do their final checks before attacking the course. As I said, they are not going full send at this moment, as it's only the first runs of the day. We will head to the course later on, once they've got a bit of a feel for the conditions here. Glorious vintage Alfa Romeo. I think that's a 6C Zagato. Passing a collection of Fraser Nashes with a Lee Francis in the middle. Got the bull-nosed Morris here. This one just went up, but Morris Cowley, surprisingly quick. And we've also got a side pipe at the side. That is a very unique choice from 1928. Got the Fraser Nash BMW, so much here to see. We'll just start at the start. Now, what is this one? You often need to look at the badges on the front of these. There's pre-war MG 4-seater. Glorious vintage Bentley there as well, maybe a Speed 6, an Alvis 1250 this one is. I think it was a 6 on the 1250, so that was quite a spirited one. Talbot here, those are very handsome cars. Pairing of glorious vintage Alfa Romeos. These are just fantastic cars. Followed up by a racing Talbot. Yeah, there's so much to see. I'll get out of the way of whatever this is. Something French, I think, maybe I'd guess. Yeah, not exactly sure as to the brand of that particular car. We're starting to get to the slightly faster stuff. The fastest stuff of the paddock is over there. That's where the big ERAs go. And the really serious stuff. Another Bentley coming past. Gotta love the polished, well, not exactly polished, but bare metal or bare aluminium look on this Riley Special. Another Riley here as well. That's another Riley parked in front ways. Maybe there's a class for these Rileys, I'm not sure. Plenty of those here today. There's always a good showing. Got this very tasty pre-war MG supercharged one there. Another Riley and another lovely, probably 1930s era. I had to guess Riley. Just got the top of the carburetors, the SU carburetors poking out there. Yeah, it's such a great atmosphere at the Prescott, especially for the VSCC meeting. Another Riley. 7 more Rileys. The first Fraser Nash we've looked at today. Chain driven these, a German registered Fraser Nash, that one. Another glorious little supercharged MG. That is a very nice forced induction system on that one, isn't it? Engine turn dashboard like the vintage Bugattis. Hopefully we'll be seeing a couple of Bugattis here today. Yeah, just such a great sight, all these vintage racing cars in the paddock. Very muscly looking Morgan here, the 4.4. That's a very competitive car in its class. I think that's an old Talbot, that's a glorious little French racer. Not small at all, actually. Got a booming straight 6 in that one. MG supercharged again. These are 4-cylinders. Got the absolutely massive SU carburetor feeding that supercharger. That is a very purposeful setup on that MG. Now this is a Talbot, this one is. There's plenty of those. Another little Fraser Nash, 4-cylinder, Riley, that's a handsome looking one, that. Another Alvis 1250, these are quite common VSCC eligible cars. Another Fraser Nash here. You can tell whether these are 4 cylinders or 6 cylinders by looking at the manifold. This has got 6 pipes coming out the side, so that'll be a 6-cylinder Fraser Nash. So that'll make a lovely, lovely noise as opposed to the sort of raspy, less smooth 4-cylinder engines that come in the Fraser Nash. There's another very shiny red Fraser Nash, another Riley, and another lovely Riley Special. Moving up, we've got this Wolseley Hornet Special here. Underpinnings of the pre-war Wolseley Hornet Saloon as the Lee Francis manoeuvres over there. Wolseley 6-cylinder engine in those. An Alvis Special, that's a very, very handsome looking car. If you're wondering what these are little like regulation sort of like flaps that you stick on the front to get over the timing board quicker. Each car will have one of those for a small time advantage. They're all sort of made to a specified length above the front wheel. This is another 6-cylinder Fraser Nash. As the Vauxhall goes past, there's nothing better than an active Paddock, is there? That's a very, very handsome 6-cylinder Fraser Nash. Another lovely little MG. It's a very sharp looking car there. And what I think is another Wolseley Special of some sort, certainly 1930s. Now this is a rare car over here, a Lancia Special. We'll skip across the track for this one, but wow. This is a beautiful, beautiful vintage car. The engine is very, very peculiar, very strange carburettor. I think that is up top. Now I know Lancias often had V4s. I don't know whether this is one. But yeah, that is one. Very, very nice looking Lancia. Now we're getting into some of the pre-vintage, almost veteran cars now. These things are absolutely incredible. This is a Crit, some form of special I have not heard of. These are just beautiful creations. A lot of these having aero engines. This one seems to have an aero engine. As you can see, that is the exhausts just there. Don't have to say there's not much silencing. Just incredible. Grafted that huge aero engine into a vintage car body. These are just fantastic. Got the brass fuel tank on the back. These are chain driven, as you can see. Chains either side. External gear shifter on that as well. And I think this is used to pump up the fuel pressure. Just no fuel pumps on these, so you have to pump those as you're driving along up the hill here at Prescott, for example. That is just incredible. Another aero engine car. This is the Romano Special, this one. Seen this one quite a few times before. The Oakland Romano. Stunning, stunning car. This is a Luxia. These are very, very hard cars to identify. They're often very strangely named. Home-built creations. Another glorious aero engine with absolutely no silencing. It is easy to say. There's got the gearbox back there. No synchromesh, of course, on any of these gearboxes. I can see some very, very special cars over there we will look at in a minute. This is what is this? This is a Besancon or Schneider. I think it's a Schneider. This is a curious one. Got the old style of tyres, of course. Oh, look at that. We've got to get a look at that gearbox. Have a look at the lovely script on that gearbox. That is the Schneider Paris Besançon, or Besancon, if we are being bad pronunciation. Gorgeous dials. There's the fuel pressure pump as well on there. It's just fantastic to see these just insane aero engine vintage racers. I think this next car is actually based on a saloon car. This is a Hudson Special. Got the central gear lever as opposed to some exterior setups on a lot of these cars. I think this is actually based on a saloon car, an absolutely massive 6-cylinder engine in these. There's some glorious Hudson carburetors advertising the fact that this car was originally produced in Detroit off the US of A. That is one stunning, stunning, he had a huge capacity 6-cylinder engine in there. Just beautiful oily rag. Got the old plaques on there as well. Sure that I make a lovely sound with, of course, no silencing. Just beyond the Straker Squire is a Dodge. We're seeing the Dodge 4 Tourer, and this is basically one of those, but it's a racing one of those. So that will have the 3.5 litre 4-cylinder, as seen in that oily rag Dodge Tourer we had a look at earlier. So that's an interesting car. Something very, very shiny. I'm not exactly sure as to what this is. A toll, but there you go. There's plenty going on now. What is this? This looks to be perhaps a Mercedes-Benz. Extremely, extremely desirable and rare Vintage Racer, Fraser Nash, Riley here. There's nothing better than an active paddock. I think that's another Hudson Saloon, that blue one. And there goes that absolutely gleaming toll, but that is an immaculate race car. A lot of these are oily rag and original, but that is absolutely impeccable. That's an Alvis Tourer here as well. Perhaps a Speed 25 special or something like that. It's another saloon car here of some description. Yeah, you don't see too many of the big four-seater saloons getting raced, so it's great to see that one out. Oh, now this is a special car. This is an SS special. SS, effectively the company that Jaguar was before the Second World War. Wow, this is one special car. You can see twin wheels at the back. That's for extra grip. The low-speed sort of sections of sort of twisty hill climbs like here at Prescott. So that is based on some form of vintage SS car. So I'll probably have a 6-cylinder up front. That is amazing. We can get a look at the front of this one. It's a Delage, that one is. There you go. That is a very, very loud Dodge. But yeah, this SS is a stunning special 3.5 litre special, that is. So that will be a really, really powerful car, and it just looks the business with those twin tyres on the back, doesn't it? It's a Derby Bentley Tourer here, another very, very lovely car. It's just, pre-war cars are just the best, aren't they? There's another Vauxhall here, 1398, I think this one is. Wow, that Dodge is very, very loud. There's another Delage here. I can smell Castrol R. It looks from this, judging by the number of manifolds, this might have a straight 8 engine in this Delage. So that is quite a unit if it does appear to be a straight 8 engine in this wonderful Delage. Look at that interior. Absolutely incredible car. You can see the soot burning from the exhaust. Now let's have a look at this engine. Wow. That is a straight 8. We've got 2 carburetors mounted on a absolutely stunning inlet manifold system on that one. We've got the carburetors pointing out either side, but that is a straight 8-cylinder engine there. That is absolutely insane in this Delage. There's plenty more lining up. That was one very, very loud Dodge Tourer. This is a very nice little single-seater here. Starting to get into the single-seater section maybe here. Got British dials on this one, so maybe some form of British special. So it's Austin based, I could tell you that. That is one very, very nice car. I was talking about oily rag earlier. That sums up oily rag. That is, the paint on that is just fantastic. And there we've got some of the veteran cars ready to go out. As the huge Lagonda makes its way through, that'll have another 6-cylinder up front in that one. Look at the size of those rear wheels, wow. That is one incredible Lagonda. Another little Austin 7 special here. A Singer this one is, so I know there was the little Singer 9 saloons back in the 1930s, so this might be a racer body on one of those said Singer saloons. Got the fuel pressure pump there as well. Gorgeous interior. This is a very nice little car, this one. So I think, yeah, probably Singer 9 saloon based special, that one at a guess. It's very, very hard to identify the original manufacturers of these cars. This is the Slippery Hand Austin 7 Special, a very historic wooden bodied car there. At least the back section of the body is actually fabricated out of wood. Ooh, look at this, a Rapier. That is one stunning, stunning car. 4-cylinder, maybe, judging by the manifolds. Got the back lifted up, that's because these often need to start in gear or be bump started, but if you lift up the back, you don't need to get in anyone's way or anything. So that's very, very cool. Another very historic car here. This is the Granny Special. It's been ragging up Prescott Hillclimb, Lowton Park, various hill climbs. All is going very, very quick. Got a motorbike developed V-twin engine on that one. That is a very, very, very historic car. Yeah, just look at all these vintage cars. It is just great, isn't it? I don't exactly know what this one is. Got a lot of manifolds, so maybe a 6-cylinder. Got a little adjuster for the adjustable front suspension on the front there. Oh, Riley, there you go. A Riley with a manual gearbox. Often Rileys have pre-selectors, but this is I think it's a 4-cylinder actually, but a Riley with the typical 4-speed crash box. So that's quite cool. You can see all the Aero-engined cars going out now. Another very, very low Austin 7 here. That is a cool little car. This is the Adro special, little Jap engine special. That's once again another very historic and quite leery car. This is the Beck Power Plus. I'm not exactly sure what this one is. Haven't seen this one before. Of course, a lot of the body of this one actually got a carburettor mounted all the way down there. And this one, which is a curious intake system on that special. This is a very, very special Morgan. I think it's the Salmson Sports. It's something like that. Basically, it's a Morgan with 4 wheels, which isn't normal. You can see the twin tyres whirring away on the back. And there's a wonderful vintage Bugatti over there as well. It's just fantastic to see these cars out and about, really, isn't it? So that's that Morgan. That car is driven absolutely insanely. That thing is always very, very, very sideways. This is another, I'm not exactly sure, that's a bit big for a motorbike. That a GN V-twin engine in this one, so a GN of some sort. This one, you can tell a car when it's a GN because we've got the half leaf springs at the front of them. GNs often seem to have half leaf springs at the front, so that's the way you could tell. Chain drive again, I think. That's a vintage Sunbeam. And from a Sunbeam to a pairing of Amul cars, that's a very, very nice oily rag low blue one here. Sat slightly to the side. I'm not exactly sure whether I can call it a 2-seater, but almost. So that's a very nice oily ragger. Same can be said for this Amul car. Yeah, it's just great to see all these vintage cars actually being used as they were intended. The first Morgan here, Morgan Aero, that would be a very, very quick car on those modern motorbike tyres. There's another Austin 7 over there, starting to warm up now, so that's nice. A very nice bare aluminium Riley special there, just beyond the GN. An MG, a 6-cylinder one by the looks of things, also supercharged. And there's some very, very special cars over there. Oh, there's one car I definitely want to have a look at. We can have a look at this Fraser Nash, a 4-cylinder, next to another Fraser Nash, another 4-cylinder, I think that one is. Very large capacity though. There's the Austin 7, there's an MG, another MG supercharged Tourer, another little Austin 7 Tourer, another Austin 7 Tourer, but look at this. This is the MG Bellevue special, this one. Seen this car plenty of times before. You can see the body is slightly offset compared to the chassis. It's slightly towards the right. Also got the twin tyres on the back of this one for the extra grip in the low speed exits of the corners. That is one stunning polished aluminium. Yeah, just beautiful, beautiful car. This is some form of special. I think, if memory serves, this might be a Ford-based special of some description. And there's a Fraser Nash over here. There's a Vauxhall pulling in over there. I'm just going to skip through the next load of cars. We will have a look at them very, very soon because there's something I really, really want to have a look at. We will look at these stunning vintage racing cars later, but the one running here is what I wanted to look at. This is a new car onto the scene, I think. It's an ERA of some description. 6-cylinder. Yeah, I think this car's a fairly new sort of build. So loud, very vocal 6-cylinder ERA engine. Yeah, glorious classic racer. Right, well, there are other things, so we'll move on. We'll go back up here actually and start from the top. Now this is a special car, this is the Cognac Special. So CO is the initials of the man who created this absolute beast of a car. GN is because it's got a lot of GN parts. You can see the GN distinctive half leaf springs at the front, and AC at the end of Cognac because this has an AC 6-cylinder engine, which sounds incredible. I've recorded this car a few times before. It is absolutely insane. You can see a sort of reversed gear position on this one, but this car sounds glorious. It is an incredible, incredible classic race, a very historic car. Really looking forward to recording that one. Couple little specials here. I'm not too sure what the history of that one is, but this is a very special car. This is the Spider Special, much like the Granny earlier, but that is a Very historic car, created before the Second World War, I think, and it's exactly how it would have been in period. Oily rag once again. This is an incredibly special car. So historic, that. We even got a nice toolkit of old tools here. I think this is another fairly historic car. I should really know what this is, but I don't, unfortunately. Yeah, I feel like that car's got quite an interesting story, but I can't tell you that one, unfortunately. There's a Fraser Nash just over there, and a lovely Jaguar XK120 fixed head coupe. There's the Fraser Nash over there, but this is a stunning vintage Delahaye 6-cylinder French racer. That is an amazing looking car. And now we get onto the ERAs. These came as a variety, I think 1.5 litre and 2 litre or 2+ litre 6-cylinder English racing automobiles engines. Variety gearboxes in these, I think pre-selected gearboxes. I think this is one of the slightly smaller 1.5 litre cars, but it's still very lovely. And this is just a car that is steeped in history. You can see Raymond Mays on the side, one of the many historic drivers to race this car. This is the ERA R4D, which is a very distinctive car when you look at it, because this has independent front suspension. Whether it actually makes it nicer to drive or more skittish, it is unknown. But that is an incredibly historic car since the mid to late 1930s. Now this ERA, I think it's the first time it's sort of been to any VSCC event since it's been recently rebuilt. It's a stunning car. And there's another glorious vintage ERA. I think that one actually isn't quite what it seems. That one has been actually made quite recently, that one. So that's not as old as you'd think, that one. Got some Bugattis firing up now. Straight 8 engines in these Bugattis. Whoa, look at that engine bay though. Wow. Bugattis are just incredible vintage racing cars, aren't they? So from that stunning red Bugatti, we'll just hop over that casually placed priceless wheel. And there's another Bugatti. I think this is a slightly smaller engine one, but another 8-cylinder car, which I just found fantastic. Interesting little custom specials here. That's the Maggot Special, quite a historic car. And that's the Wellesley Special. I haven't seen that one before, I think, actually. We'll skip through here. Now, one thing with many of these ERAs is they have variety gearboxes, and variety gearboxes are often pre-selectors, but that's what makes this one different. Now, I think this is actually just a conventional manual gearbox in this. Now, Dad, do you know, what's that one there? Is it rebuilt recently or something?
Yes, I think it's a fairly recent build around old running gear.
So is it
like the E-Type ERA?
E-Type, yeah.
Another one that's around.
I know it was a Type something.
Yeah, there's an E-Type ERA around.
Oh, right.
We've seen it.
I think I know. Yes, I think I know. There's quite a bit of nice stuff here though, isn't there? We've seen, this one was the one that was at the Monaco Historique this year as well. This car really gets around, but I don't think it's a pre-selector, this one. I think it's just a conventional 4-speed manual gearbox. We'll step over the rack. The closest I can get to these cars is classic Schuko toys. No ERA toys though, actually. And there's the ERA twin cam 6-cylinder up front. This is a very competitive car. Many of these ERAs, all of them I think, are indeed supercharged. You can see, I think that is even the supercharger on the front of that engine. And this car is another recreation built with all old parts. It's only like 20 years old, maybe, probably not even that old, as we're bump starting. A little special there. But yeah, this ERA is not as old as you think. It's an incredible creation, but this is an original English racing automobiles vintage racing car. It's just stunning. This is one of the most competitive cars here. And remember, we'll be capturing the glorious sight and sound of these vintage racing beauties hammering up the hill later on. That's a huge engine on the Wellesley Special. I haven't seen this car before. A little GN maybe, indicated by the half leaf springs at the front and the shape of the front grille on that one. It's a very unique Austin. I think it's a 12.4 special, that one. Another glorious vintage racing Bugatti. Very nice oil catch can on that one. You can see the driver actually pressuring the fuel there. No manual fuel pumps on these. Stunning, stunning car. Fraser Nash. So much to see. This is an incredible car. This is a Riley special. Seen it once before at the Lowton Park VSCC Hillclimb, and this is another very competitive car. Certainly a contender for fastest time of the day. And there's what I think is that Mercedes just beyond the little granny special to the right. And here's yet another lovely, I think this is a Riley TT Sprite, this one. Incredible turnout of Bugattis today. This is just another some form of glorious classic Bugatti race car. Just stunning, stunning vintage races. This is a Type 59 Bugatti. This one is supercharged, straight 8 engine. This car is another contender for fastest time of the day. It is driven impeccably by its driver. Yeah, we've actually got quite an interesting little fairing on the back of this. Be that Bugatti over there. That's the conventional back, and that one's got like a little fairing on the back, so that's quite cool. Little variation on these French racers. Now this is an Alta. This is actually a 4-cylinder car, I think it is, but this is absolutely insane. This thing is so powerful, so sideways on these skinny little tyres. It is a joy to watch. It is driven absolutely beautifully by Mr. Baxter, I think it is. This one, he's been driving this car for many years. Supercharged, of course. It sounds insane, this car. It's just the perfect shape of vintage racing car. Got the back elevated once again for the effective bump starting. Yeah, it's a stunning car that generates an absolutely insane amount of power. And here's the Riley Monasco Pirate Special. This is an Aero-engined car, I think, another insane car. Saw this one demonstrating at the Bicester Flywheel event, which was absolutely incredible to watch. Never seen it tackling a narrow hill climb though, so that will be very special, but do not underestimate what will happen later. The sight and sound of these things going sideways on what's probably like not even a 3-meter wide road. I don't know, maybe. But yeah, a very narrow road, certainly for a huge racing car like this. It is a sight to behold, and I cannot wait to see that car. It's been on the wide roads of Bicester, or the wide sort of airfield taxiways, but I cannot wait to see what that's like on the narrow Prescott Hillclimb. But I predict that this Alta will be fastest up the hill today. When you see it start, or at any point of my filming today, you will understand. It is a rapid car. I think Prescott Hillclimb is actually the location of the Bugatti Owners Club of the Owners Association, and this is an equally stunning vintage Bugatti race. Oh no, what is this? I'm not sure actually. I'll skip over that for a second. I know this is a Bugatti. This is, I think it's a Type 54, this one, but I recognise it because it's got these absolutely stunning dish wheels. I'm not sure whether these competing, they might be, which we'll be very lucky to see. It's got these stunning spoked dish wheels that come with, I think it's the Type 54. Another straight 8 engine in that one. Just incredible. The power of these cars is insane. I think this is a Bugatti. It's French registered, and it's certainly got the same dish wheels. Wow, that is one absolutely incredible engine. Count the spark plugs, that's a straight 8 in that one. There's the supercharger mounted on the front. I cannot get over just the treats of seeing these cars parked up and to see them going up the hill later. I've never seen Prescott this big. We went to the 2023 Prescott Hillclimb, but that was the September meeting. It's August meeting this time, which is the biggest meeting. It is on the short course, but yeah, it is just incredible. This, I think, is a bit of Ford-based special. I think it's got a very sort of tuned-up Ford Model A engine in this one, but it's all overhead valve conversion and everything. Rutherford overhead valve. Got the BARC badge on the front of that one. Just beyond those glorious vintage Bugattis over there. This is the Norris Special, this one, a 6-cylinder up front in this. I've seen this car plenty of times before. It makes a very distinctive bark from its intake for the SU carburetors on there. Fraser Nash, so chain drive, the Norris Special, very special and historic car there. Very cool. And this is, I can't remember I should know what this car's called. It's an Aero-engine. It's a car built around an Aero-engine. I've seen it plenty of times before. The power of it is insane. It is so sideways. Absolute treat to watch. I should know what it's called. It will come to me when I'm editing this. But yeah. It's also got half leaf springs, so maybe a bit of GN DNA in there, maybe, but it's basically an aluminium bodied car with an aero engine, which is a fantastic recipe for entertainment. Here's the chain drive system on the incredible twin-engined Maggot Special. One thing I actually didn't notice earlier about this incredible VSCC Special is that we've got one engine at the front and another one at the back, two huge V-twins on this one. Just incredible sort of technology and engineering for the time. Imagine linking up all the chains and the throttle cables for those two V-twins on the Maggot Special. Just fantastic engineering. There's the fantastic rear view mirror. The Riley cars are queuing up to go out for their practice runs shortly. Should mention there's actually a whole section of racing cars up there which we'll look at shortly. And just when you think you've finished the paddock, there's a whole other massive section here. I think this is more sort of tailored towards the saloon cars that are converted into the sort of special racer bodies. So of course we will have a little look round these. That's an HRG, that one. So while it may look like it's from the 1930s, that probably dates from around 1950, so post-war car there. But maybe it's, I think it's eligible for VSCC actually because it's basically an older car. Riley Sprite here. Great looking little sort of, I think it's another GN, that one. So the Riley goes behind Fraser Nash. So many Fraser Nashes. Alvis 1250, very nice polished bodywork. Lee Francis, four-seater Lee Francis from Coventry there. First one of those we've seen. Riley Sprite. A Riley Tourer as well, I think that's a Lynx maybe. The Tourer, not too sure. Nice old Morgan Aero around there as well. Furthermore, Riley's another HRG actually. I think these are the latest cars that are eligible for VSCC events because they are post-war, but they're basically pre-war in design. And look, several Rileys parking up. Little Austin 7 pairing here. Those are quite cool. Pairing of Rileys as well. A bit quieter up here. No, I don't think as many people know about this one. Nice and original looking aluminium paintwork on this Austin 7 here. There's a Vale here, that's quite a rare British little special. That's really, really loud. That car is actually very, very revvy. Riley Brooklands there as well, another German registered one. All these cars with the sort of battered aluminium bodywork reminding me of my little pedal car back at home. If you do want to see that, it used to be like an old tractor pedal car and I recreated it to look a little bit like some of the perhaps rattier specials, let's say, that are here today. Now what is this? Ah, Fiat. This is a very, very lovely 1930s date Fiat. Nice little fintail on the back of that one as well, like a Balila or something like that. I'm sure I nailed that pronunciation. Oh, Balila, there you go. Now what is this? It looks to have sort of GN shape of grille. It's almost like a little cycle car, this one. Very nice Castrol oil catch can in there. Another V12, perhaps motorbike. Maybe not actually engine, I'm not sure. Another midget, naturally aspirated, no supercharger on that one. Very upright looking AML car. And look at this, this looks to be a little French special. Looks like it's had a bit of perhaps drivetrain deconstruction. It's an Elfe. I really don't know about this one. Got the whole aluminium bodywork out on that one. Yeah, just a little bit of maintenance, it's safe to say. And that one got a great another look at oily rag Austin 7 here. Have a little look at this one, a two-seater as well. It's got the wider body. Very, very nice. Another Austin 7, twin SU carbs on this one. That's quite an intake setup. And the exhaust side of things, all mounted on the same side. Of course, no cross flow on these vintage cars. Wasn't really a thing yet. This is a gorgeous old Railton, probably one of the later cars here. This would have been a big saloon car at some point. I think these have like a straight 8 or some huge engine in them. But this is obviously converted to like a special body. So that used to be a big saloon. Yeah, that's quite a cool body on that one. Now this, I think, is it maybe a Talbot Lager? This one is Talbot Lager. Original French registrations. Lovely French blue racing colours. Yeah, Talbot Lager. Gorgeous, gorgeous French racing car. We'll have a little look around these. Another MG, another supercharged MG for that matter. 7 more Austin 7s. I like the aluminium on that one. Riley Sprite, I think those are Sprites. Beyond this Austin 7, another very nice oily rag one. Is this Morgan Aero, a Jap twin V-twin engine, and I love that little oil catch can on the front for the GMB automotive products. That's exactly the sort of thing I'd have in my shed collections at home. Plenty more Austin 7s. Effective handbrake system on that Austin 7 little Tourer. Yeah, so many of these here. That's quite a low one there. Sandwiched behind the Riley, and another very, very shiny Austin 7. There's an AML car. That's always quite a spirited car to watch as the Vauxhall 3098 passes. That's a glorious AML car. There's a Riley over there as well. And this is the sort of thing I love. Really sort of oily rag, original looking aluminium bodywork, bare metal. Just looks the business, doesn't it? And that's the look I was going for, and hopefully achieved with my little pedal car back at home. This AML car is something quite a bit more elegant. And just when you think you've seen everything, another section pops up. Here's the back of that glorious, huge Lagonda we saw earlier, which has got a lovely little spot lamp on the back of that. That's a really nice period fitting. There's a selection of Vauxhall 30/98s here. I like the brass style of radiator on this one. This car has been raced by its current owner for a very, very long time. Very, very common sight at various VSCC events. These 3098s used to be very common trials cars, but trials are very, very hard on these vintage cars, and I think they're starting to sort of only really use the little Austin 7s and smaller cars for trials, as these are very, very valuable pre-war cars. So yeah, the Vauxhall 3098s, plenty of those will be racing up later. trying to achieve the fastest time up the just over 1,000-metre course. So we are using the short course. We moved the added on hairpin for today's racing, so a little bit shorter than the long course. Now look at that Bugatti. Don't ask me what type it is because I have not got a clue. Probably a straight 8 engine. It's an incredible looking car. You often have really long steering columns on Bugattis. The steering column was really far out, way sort of before the end of the seat. That's quite a sort of upright driving position, I suppose, in this Bugatti. Wow, not a clue what the model of that car is. It's so hard to identify these. If you do know, let me know in the comments, but that's a glorious, very, very sleek pre-war Bugatti. Grand Tourer body.
Tracks have come in, so we'll be back in action pretty soon. To do, lads. Similar car 219 for Baker's Prisoner's Cross. Both of these cars sporting
Well, that just turned up in the public car park. Poor guy, he brought a 300 SL Mercedes Gullwing and got told to put it in with this lot. Well, this has to be the most amazing public car find I've ever seen. Mercedes 300 SL Gullwing has just turned up in all these. What? Of course, it's got all the fitted luggage. Big exhaust on it as well, actually, but that is just... It really highlights how beautiful it is, actually, when compared to what Mercedes is now. This is sort of mid-50s, 4-speed, 6-cylinder up front. That is one stunning, stunning car. Phone might be a bit shaky, so I've got my bagel in my other hand. Just a quick lunch stop. Just an amazing, amazing looking car. How has this just turned up in here? Well, we're in the main public car park now, and there are some spectacular cars here. Now, this AC looks pretty tasty, but I'm just going to look at something else just before that. Just beyond this fantastic, probably Bentley Speed 6, that one, is this. Now, this is something I have never seen before. Some form of huge station. It's a Sunbeam, okay. The Bonato Hassan Bentley. I've never ever seen a car quite like this. That is absolutely massive. Wow. That is the biggest car I've seen. Look at the engine in that. Straight 8 engine. That is an absolute unit of an engine. That thing is massive. It's a huge bonnet, but the engine fills it adequately, I'd say. That is an absolute... Let's just stand back and get it all in. That is an absolute... This is the normal Sunbeam. That's still a massive car. But then this just dwarfs it. This absolutely huge, sort of like station wagon Sunbeam. Spectacular car. Even dwarfs what would have been a very big car in its day, that Bentley. I think it's a Speed 6. Moving on, there's a stunning Rolls Royce here. But of course we'll be focusing on the VSCC eligible cars, such as this fantastic GN here. Another V-twin, perhaps a motorbike. I don't know, because some of these things look way too big for motorbikes, but that's a sort of GN engine. Now look at this. Beautiful. 1950s at a guess AC of some description. Not exactly sure of the model of this one. Maybe a Greyhound. I think it might be a Greyhound. I think that's an AC Greyhound, this one. In very nice original condition, I've got to say. Nice original seats as well. Even got some lodge plugs inside there, some spares, probably a 6-cylinder up front. Nice one, very, very sleek car. Not dissimilar to the likes of the Aston Martin DB2/4, of which there's one just over there. That is the Aston Martin of a similar area, and then you can see the AC is almost identical at the back. I think it's a Greyhound. Austin 7 Ruby. There's that absolutely vast Sunbeam sort of long wheelbase van. Got this is a fantastic Vauxhall 30/98. Wow, look at the original seats in that. Yeah, this has not been changed for quite some time, has it? Aluminium bodywork, I think it is, but the paint on that's just fantastic, isn't it? Another huge pre-war car. These have a huge, I'm saying that word a lot, 4-cylinder, probably side valve actually, 4-cylinder in them, but the paint on that is just fantastic. I reckon that would get a lot more traction than the likes of the shiny one next to it, although this one looks a little bit patinated. Another very smart 30/98, and over there is a Porsche 356 and a Lancia Aurelia, very smart pair of cars. A Riley Special, that's similar to the sort of thing we've been seeing going up today. Austin 7 Chummy, a very curious little Austin 7 Chummy sort of sporty variant of body, and a very sleek Riley. That straight 8 Sunbeam is insane. I've never ever seen anything like that. It is a simply massive, once again, Sunbeam 4-seater saloon, but it's nothing compared to that. This probably has a 6-cylinder, I'd imagine, as it's the straight 8, and that incredible long wheelbase over there. MGTD, that one is. We'll have a little look around here. Vauxhall 30/98 bare metal, this one, looking quite sharp. Just next to either an Alvis Speed 20 or a Speed 25. There's an MGTC just beyond those. Have a look at this back row. Derby Bentley, the first Bentley that was produced under the Rolls Royce sort of ownership there. Next to that is a square nose Morris Oxford, Morris Cowley. Very, very similar looking cars, please forgive me. Rolls Royce, very, very smart S3, I think that is. I think, guys, that was the Rolls Royce version of the Bentley S3. Skip through these trees to look at this. Absolutely incredible. I think it's a Packard with that shape of grille. Straight 8 engine, I think. What an incredible car this is. You can get a little look at the interior. Very nice and original. Wow. We were looking at this sort of thing a little bit before buying the Pilot, actually. They're just a little bit too big, these. But yeah, straight 8 Packard, as opposed to the dwarfed 3.6 litre flathead V8 in ours. But this has got the inline 8 cylinders on this. Single Stromberg carb, incredible oil bath, air cleaner and intake manifold setup. Look at that engine though. Packard Super 8 saloon. That is one spectacular looking car. MGTC. Very nice little Wolseley special. That's a sharp looking little car. Just next to us is a Trojan. I want to say these might be two-stroke, but they're sort of one of the most affordable cars of the 1920s. I've seen one of these running, they're very smoky, so perhaps two-stroke in this Trojan. Pretty much the most affordable car of its time. Don't know too much about those though. Just next to us is a Renault NN. You can see the side intakes on this one. Looks like it's well used, this one. The old cars always look a little bit better with a little bit of mud on them. There's some form of side valve V8 in this special here. Probably a very similar engine to the likes of our Pilot and the other Ludlow Green Pilot we saw earlier. Steering wheel very, very far back in that one. There's a Bentley over there and a little Wolseley, which is a very sharp looking little car. These look to be Alvis 1250s here. An incredible selection of vintage cars parked over here. So there's a bit of a line-up here of Alvis 1250s, some painted, some not. Very nice little MGPA this one is, from 1934. Lovely Bentley, I think that's probably a 3 litre. There's an Alvis Tourer 4.3 litres, so that is the Speed 25, the big engined one from 1936. Wow, there really is so much to see. We'll have a little around all of these, as I've said, before heading up to the hill, further up the hill, for some different perspectives. We've got the Vauxhall 3098, Austin 7 box Tourer, another Alvis, maybe Speed 20, so it's the smaller size of the Alvis straight 6 engine as opposed to the Speed 25, which is a 4.3, I think, that we saw earlier. And that's actually a Tourer. That one's very smart. Very sharp looking little Austin 7 here. I love the fishtail ends of exhaust on these. Little boat tail end, that's a very sharp looking little car. There's another Vauxhall 3098 over there. So much to see. Foreign registered Lotus Elise, a little bit modern. Left hand drive, wonder where that one's come from. MGTC, another Alvis 1250, quite an early 1250 this one. And there's some sort of Maserati, I think that's probably a replica, maybe a Formosa or something. Yeah, plenty Alvis 1250s here. One of the most common VSCC eligible cars around. There's so much to see. Look at this, a stunning Bristol 403. These have a 2 litre Bristol straight 6 in them. That is one incredible interior. Probably late 40s at a guess in date for this Bristol 403. Great looking cars. There's another Alvis 1250 over there. Daimler SP250, the Dart here. Another Riley Kestrel, this one is the Kestrel body from 1934, Ford Model A, the 4-seat saloon, and there's not us, I promise, in the Ford V8 Pilot in Ludlow Green, Ford Model A Coupe there, another Vauxhall 3098, oh wow, look at this, I spy a very smart looking old Hotchkiss here. I think this one is just beyond the Mark II Triumph Vitesse, the Derby Bentley and the MGC GT just over there. What a spectacular looking car this is. Huge old Hotchkiss. It's a French manufacturer. What an incredible looking car that is. No back window in it. The pattern on that is just brilliant, isn't it? I'm sure this has got some form of huge straight 6, even an 8-cylinder engine. Looks to be probably a straight 6. That's a very handsome and great patinated old car, that. Patina theme continues with this Austin 7 box saloon. That is a good looking little car. Got the Vauxhall 3098, the first one where you can see the engine on it, actually a huge 4-cylinder side valve unit on that one. That's an immaculate car. There's so many of those here today, aren't there? What is this? This is a bit of an unusual one. Oh, Salmson, that's actually quite a late Salmson, that. Yeah, so maybe mid to late 30s at a guess, but that's actually quite a late one for a Salmson. They weren't making quite as many cars then. Just over there, more Alvis 1250s and a Jaguar XK150. Lovely little Riley Sprite. That's a very handsome little car. Riley Kestrel Sprite, this one, so I think it's the sporty variant of the Riley Kestrel here. Probably a pre-selector gearbox. Yep, pre-selector in this one from 1937. That's cool, isn't it? This is real rarity. This is an AC. Probably very early 1920s or late 1910s at a guess. Yeah, one of the first AC models these were. The AC6, there you go. It's probably the oldest AC you'll see, probably for this year actually. I've seen one of those in a museum before. Super old AC6. Glorious Sunbeam 2-seater Tourer actually. That one's maybe got a dicky seat in the back. Yet another Vauxhall 3098 and a very nice bare aluminium Fraser Nash over there. Another one of many, many huge Vauxhall 30/98s here today. Bentley, I think that's probably a 3 litre, that one. Probably a 3 litre, fairly early one. The Lagonda, that's a fantastic looking 4-seat tourer. Nice one, very, very handsome looking car. Little MG, I'm not exactly sure what model that is. A Bentley 3 litre, I think that is as well. There's a few more cars down there, but they're mostly things we've seen before already in this absolutely incredible array of vintage cars. Just beyond there, I think this is a standard. I think this is the standard V4 model, I think. Not actually a V4 engine, I think it's just called the V4 model of standard, so mid-1920s probably. And here is the wonderful old Dodge Brothers 4 Tourer. Just great patina. It's originally a South African car, this one. It's got some great looking cast South African plates on it, which explains the right hand drive. Our one was shipped out as a kit of parts to Australia, so that explains why ours is also right hand drive. But that is just patinated beautifully over many, many years of gentle use, maybe. Bentley 3 litre MG Magnet and some very nice wide steel rims. That looks very sharp on those. Single tone, sometimes twin tone. Little MG Midget, I think this one is, the M-type Midget. Riley, I think that's a Lynx Tourer. Little Morgan 4/4. Another little Ford Special. This is probably, no, I think it's maybe the Ford 1172 side valve, but it looks a little bit bigger than that. So some form of Ford side valve 4-cylinder in that little Special. I think this is a little Lagonda Rapier here. Oh no, an Amel car. Oh no, the distinctive grille looks a little bit like a Lagonda Rapier, but no, an Amel car. This one's so French, this one. That's a lovely, lovely shape. Look at this, it's competed at Pendine Sands, which is a race for hot rods. Look at that little oil catch can on the front there. That is an absolutely glorious little brass unit. A Triumph Stag as well, and this looks to be maybe an Austin 12.4. Look how original that is though. Vauxhall 30/98 doing a bit of manoeuvring in front of various classic Jaguars, more Vauxhalls, a very sharp 105 Series Alfa Romeo. Such a selection of cars here, it really is amazing. But this is one of my favourites. Look at the paint on this. I think it's probably a 12.4, but that paint is just beautiful. Hopefully you can see it on the video, guys, but the paint on that is just beautiful. Yeah, probably untouched since the 1920s. That is one fantastic patinated car, that. Really, really love it. If anyone knows the Gumdrop cartoons, I used to read them as a kid. I think he had a blue, it was, Austin 12.4, which is basically this car, but his wasn't as nice as this. Yeah, great looking patina on this, which I think it's an Austin 12.4. Just beyond, yet another probably Riley Sprite, very, very handsome car. And I like, perhaps a fuel filler or something maybe, quick release, whatever it is. Look at this, a Citroen Traction Avant. Now these came as the light 15 and the heavy version. Now this is the heavy version, the really long wheelbase version of the Citroen Traction Avant front wheel drive. That's what it translates as, and it is indeed front wheel drive. But this is the very rare long wheelbase version. Sounds like the lunch break is over, things are starting to go up again for the proper timed runs this time. A little MG, and I think that's another M-type Midget. There's a teal, I think that's like a Bugatti replica based on like an MGB or something. And some more patina. Austin 7 little racer there. And what is this? A curious 3-wheel sort of cycle car here. This is the Morgan Runabout, made in Malvern along with all the other Morgans, but that's a fascinating little car, that, isn't it? I don't know anything about that, unfortunately. Morgan plus 8. Another Midget, I think, MG. I think this is another... Oh, Donnet. Oh, right. Yeah, this is a French manufactured car then, a Donnet. I think they became Donnet Zadal. For some reason that name comes to mind. Looks a little bit like the Trojan, but perhaps a little bit more upmarket than the Trojan. There we go. MG M-type Midget, I think that one is again. Another great looking Alvis 1250 with the polished bodywork. This is the larger version of the 1250 sold alongside each other pretty much. This is the Alvis Silver Eagle, this one, which I think has a 6-cylinder engine. You can see actually the wheelbase is quite a bit wider than just the standard 1250. Got another 1250 boat tail here. Tax this from 31. Very handsome cars, these 1250s. What a gorgeous little MG this is. Almost looks like the likes of the Riley Kestrel, but this is an MG one. Now that is a curious creation. I've never ever seen an MG that looks this good. Lovely twin tone bodywork. Little Austin 7s are going up at the moment. The Brooklyn steering wheel, Brooklyn's MG steering wheel, that's a great looking little period mod. Wow, that's one of my favourite cars here. That is one of the cars here that I would actually be thrilled to own. That is a really, really lovely MG. I think it's like an M-type midget, but I've never seen one with that body. That is a fascinating little car. Really love that. That's such a glorious bodywork on that. That is one fantastic looking little MG. You can tell I really like that. Another Derby Bentley here. Early 1930s. I think Bentley was acquired by Rolls-Royce in roughly 1931. I think this is another GN special, more bare metal goodness on that one. The Gonda here, 4-seat Tourer. For sale at the end of the summer to fund the owner's Delage project. Now this is a curious creation. I was looking at this earlier off camera. Now I figured out that the grille is a cut down Series 1 Austin A40 grille. But apart from that, it's got very, very narrow tyres. I really have no clue what it is at all. No dials at all. I wonder if it's maybe like a race car in the making, because you probably would have some dials put on it fairly soon. I want to say it's maybe got some BMC in it, Austin, which would suggest the A40 Mark 1 grille, but yeah, it's a really cool looking body on it actually, but that's where my knowledge ends in this car. Very, very curious one. Now what is this? This is, I need to go around the front of this one. I think it's a Riley probably. There you go, Riley, another Lynx Tourer. And here it's this. Now this is well, it's certainly meant to be an AC Cobra 289. I think it might actually be a genuine one, this one. But I'm not too sure. They always take, yeah, I think it might be actually. I'm not sure though, I'm not going to commit. But I think this might be a genuine early AC Cobra 289. Found out you guys what year, if you want to, of course, G-Reg is. But I think that might, is it maybe? I don't know, G-Reg might be a bit late for a 289 Cobra. I'm not exactly sure. But if it is, I know Hawk make quite convincing replicas of the AC Cobras, the 289s especially, my favourite variant really. They make very, very convincing replicas. And if it isn't, which I can't decide, I really don't know. I need to search up that registration, but if it is a replica, then it's a very, very convincing one.
Paul Weston in another Nash. That engine lasted a long time, from 1919 till about 1968. It's a good spread of on an extension of the bodywork circle. Twin engine 4.5, so it'll... Otherwise she'll be doing the washing up this evening. 49.89 is an excellent time too. And we got another brilliant time. Owned by the Evans family from Bellevue Garage. You could rent this car pre-war for a weekend in Brooklyn's 20. The brothers pre-war produced a number of specials, including, of course, famous drive, Midland's 1.5 litre ERA.
Bit of a code brown moment for the 1.5 litre ERA there. Thankfully, managed to miss every single wall and tree.
Are the wheels pointing in the right direction? I think they are. Damage at all. That's really good news. So Tom has been finding the limits. When you've got a roller bearing, the crank comes to pieces.
Well, it is getting very, very late now. There were 7 cars left, 7 of my favourites, ERA R4D, the Bugatti Type 35s, the 59s, the 51s, but the twin-engined something special. Dumped a load of oil on the last corner, and I think in a few minutes, due to sort of sound regulations, there can be no more running, unfortunately. So we will not see the biggest of the beasts, unfortunately, like the Riley Manasco Pirate. Although if you do want to see that car, head over to the channel homepage for the Bicester Flywheel event. That was all crossed up constantly in that video, along with a demonstration of loads of other beautiful vintage and classic racing cars, just like we saw today. But even though we didn't get to see the very last 7 cars, it has been a wonderful, wonderful day and would recommend. Let me know what you would have taken up the hill or driven home yourself. And of course, we cannot forget the amazing turnout in the public car park, including the real public uninteresting car park, that glorious Gullwing Mercedes. So do let me know that. Make sure to subscribe for more vintage and classic content. And for now, thanks for watching.